Welcome everybody, and welcome to All In, All United. Reem, Nico, and Greg on the inside. How are you feeling, fellas? How are you feeling? Eh? How are you feeling?
These say, well, I know we need clouds. I know we need clouds.
How you mean? How you mean?
Not the very best.
I'm telling you. Greg, how you feeling, buddy?
Hey. I post a video on Future just because I was like sensational. That's how I felt, sensational. To watch them go. It was I don't know. Words can express how much I enjoy watching that match. It was absolutely unbelievable to see that kind of scoreline today. We scored the highest. We won by the highest scoreline for this season.
No doubt.
That's insane.
I see nobody. You never know, especially on this season going there, but I see nobody side 10 this season, boy. 10 or more, boy. But you never know, this season's still young, but wow.
Yeah. So earlier here what's going on. We came into this game off the back of two disappointing results, especially the one that resounded most is the one against Sheffield United. And it's like every time we lost or drop points, everybody's trying to cave in on the team now.
Good night, love.
Nico, what are you doing? Yeah, we have special people calling in on the
yeah. Of course.
The man I fan club.
Yeah, of course.
How you mean? How you mean? How to do it?
Yeah. I Go ahead.
Like that disappointed in you, man. You are understand the time, but the man with that particular reason. That's what you doing there. Play for the front, and they got to remember the name on the back. That's what you had to do there.
You understand? Let me hear Nico.
Right? The man scored 2 goals with no pressure. Right?
Oh, God.
After the game was already won. After the game was comfortably won, Marshall scored his goals. Right? I cannot judge him on that. I want to judge him when he scores. Score most.
Come on, man.
What's going on? Gregory, if Marcel them chances if he didn't score them chances, Nico would come here and bump up him out the front.
How do we know this?
But the game was already won already.
You do that, come and tell me, oh, Marcel don't score. Think they have a problem with him. The man come and score.
You'd have been more vexed if you didn't miss them chances.
I know Marshall, and the whole world know Marshall has the quality, right, to take those chances and even better one. However, we want him taking those chances when it matters the most. Against Sheffield United, right? Against Sevilla last season, against Liverpool, right? All the big goals that costed us, that when I wait to score. Everybody know he had the quality. No pressure, right, Jody? No pressure.
You done, buddy? You done?
I'm done.
Yeah, but you make it 10 points. The same way you can say that Rashford under some moments where he doesn't think and you can put thing in that corner and he's going and hitting straight at the keeper. Every player does go through that. You can't just blame Marcelo alone. And the fact that he scored them 2 goals today, like I said, you'd have been more vexed if he didn't score them. You'd have make it all noise and how he wasteful. We can't put away our team. The man scored 2 goals. Get Jackie jacket for God's sake.
Yeah, he had the quality, but Rashford make it easier for him, right? Cavani make it easier for him. So I mean, I think where he is now, I think that is where he will be for a while because I think the players ahead of him kind of more ruthless, especially big games than him. A little more ruthless than him.
I wish the players who are ahead of him was ruthless when we play Arsenal. But we don't get into that because I don't have
those players
no agenda. I have no agenda now, boy. You know what I'm saying? So me just study that big game that we were supposed to win against Arsenal. That the 2 of them should be sitters. But anyway, Hey, Andrew, welcome, man. He said he needed those 2 goals, bro. Yeah, tell them now, boy.
No,
I agree.
He needed those.
What I like about what Oli do.
We want to see it consistently.
No problem. But what I like what Oli do is Oli say, hey, here what's going on. I could have leave Cavani on. Yeah, understand? And let Cavani probably score about 8 goals a day. I could have do that. But it's important. It's important.
He got a knock.
He got a knock, no problem. But what I'm saying is, Oli, so it's important that this was the game. It was already set, even though the game was already won. This was a game that Marcel needed to come on and build confidence, and that he did.
Nice.
Any proper manager, you understand, will know that, hey, here what's going on. If I could have all my attacking players fire in, you understand what I'm saying? It will benefit the team and not people with their agendas, not done. You understand? So you can imagine we have Greenwood, Rashford, Cavani, and Martial fire in. So this game was the right one to bring on Martial, even though we was already 4-0 up. Them 2 goals that Martial score and the performance in the second half here will go a long way to the confidence for him, and it will do the team a world of good going forward. Let me hear that.
Most important. No, what I want to talk about is Jody. Yeah. Greenwood had a good performance today.
Yeah,
right?
Greenwood was real good.
Good performance of Jody. I just say, well, all right, I pop here and say, yeah, all right, today Greenwood had a good performance. You know, so Jody, I went to see that one.
Yeah. All right, fellas. So let me get into the mix. Team sheet. I have no issues with the team sheet. I done. Let me hear you.
I agree, because at the end of the day, it was one of those games. He knew how he wanted to set up. I know it had a couple of people complaining about how he got back and Fred on McTominay again. I was like, oh, the thing worked for you for so many times. Why are you fighting it? That is how it's been that. And look what happened. We got treated. We got spoiled. I can't tell men what they want again, you know. At the end of the day, it was a good day, and everybody chimed in. McTominay and all took his goal like a boss. I say, it's like, what's going on here? He really wanted to play center forward for this team, boy.
Yeah.
And what was important today, right, guys? If you looked, right, of the changes he made from the last game to today's game, was only one change. And that one change was Pogba coming out of the team for who it was. Who it was he brought in? Greenwood, right? So more or less it was consistency with the same team. Because last game against Arsenal, Fred and McTominay, especially when McTominay was on the field, was very good, right? And now we started back with more or less the same team, except for Pogba for Greenwood. And you saw that continuity, you saw that cohesion, you saw that chemistry within the team. Yes, we know that Southampton went 1 down earlier, but you saw a lot more control. You saw a lot more of the guys knowing what they was trying to do. You know, so for me, the team sheet, no excuse. Yeah, as you say, no excuse. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, the team sheet. And I guess most of the times he doesn't have issues with the team sheet. For me, I will always go to that Sheffield game. I had an issue with the 2 changes in the back, where he brought on Tonzere and Tellez. At least they were make one, right? But the 2, I think that was too much for the back. And you saw it again. Look, Lindelof played against Arsenal. Lindelof played today, right? Shaw played against Arsenal. Shaw played today, right? So to me, he should have went with his at least closest to his best team, right, against Sheffield, similar as what he did today.
Well, let me jump in on that, but I think we have to cut to Anze with some slack, because at the end of the day, he wasn't even expecting to play this game. He came in because Eric Bailly picked up a knock-in trainer. So he wasn't the freshest player that they had, but he was the one that was available. Lindelof had to
play because look, Lindelof play against Arsenal, Lindelof play again today. So what was he excuse? To me, had no excuse for Lindelof not play.
Nico. Lindelof has had a back problem that he's been dealing with for some time. So maybe Oli thought it was best to rest him for the Sheffield game. So that's probably why he gave to Anzebe a run out. And it wasn't the worst game to Anzebe had. It was just a lot of the whole defensive line fell asleep for those Sheffield goals, in my honest opinion. I don't think
We fighting for a Premier League title and all run out. Yes, sir.
You will need players for
No
depth.
one for granted.
You will need players for depth when it comes to situations like that. Suppose Maguire and Bailly and Lindelof all injured. Who else are going to play?
When that happened,
You going to get some play.
at that time, I can't say nothing.
Just imagine we going up a game against City and then we in that situation and the only two defenders we have available is Swansea and Jones. What we do?
We had to live with it. We had to live with it. At that point,
It's a nightmare of a scenario, Nico. It's a nightmare of a scenario, but it's a possible scenario. You know? Stranger things about
but yes, we saw that United already. Where you have to bring men from all over the place. And I understand that if we have the men, let me not rest men because we're watching the next game coming up now. Right? Bailly went down. All right, Bailly gone down. Lindelof, sorry, you have to play. You know?
Well, he rested him particularly because he wanted to make sure the man back was acting up that game. So he said himself, all right, action should get.
We have feel so.
Oh, look who rich. Look who rich in the comment. I want to hear what this man had to say today. He always has something negative to say about Dolly. He always has something negative to say about his team. I want to hear him today. It's a Davion Isaac.
But if I were just jump in on what you all were talking about just now, I kind of in the middle because at first when Nico and myself was discussing it after the review for the Sheffield game, I was of the opinion where he had to rotate his squad, he had to use the team, So I was with you, Greg. But when you look at what happened in the game, and how that particular change itself, the back line, how it impacted the game, I tend to kind of lean more on Nico's side where it's a certain games you had to risk it, And if we reach to the point where we had to play City with Jones and Tuanzebe, then it would have possibly meant that we'd have win the Sheffield game, we'd have win the Arsenal game, So the game that we would have dropped points with, we'd have had the full points for those games going into the game where we had to risk Jones and Tuanzebe. However, back on the flip side now, if you risk Lindelof in those kind of games and he out long term, then it's not like you got Jones and Tuanzebe for one game, you got them for more games, and that kind of risking the going concern and the games that we had to play in the future now. So I also rotation. I think the issue is that the players let the manager down more than anything else.
And that's just it. I mean, you look at the situation. Suppose we played our full strength squad against Sheffield and we still lost that game. What would have been the excuse then?
No excuse. We didn't play good.
That's how you look at those situations.
So he was don't give him an excuse to say that. Look at an excuse to say that.
That's exactly why he did what he did. He let Swansea get some games. He made sure Lindelof could be fresh so that he could partner Maguire. So it works out in itself. Yes, it's the worst thing to do to happen to us that we lost that Sheffield game. That was the one game I didn't expect us to lose. I don't think that was the one game anybody expected us to lose. But these things happen. We can't harp on it now. What's done is done. We redeemed ourselves now.
But what I like today is that you didn't see, because Oliver's only make about 3 or 4 changes every game. Right? That is normally his trend. But today, with the one change that he made from the last game, I think that is why. I mean, I know the red card, as I said before, when I played a part. But what I saw was a chemistry within the team today that you haven't been seeing in the team being changed and chopped every other game with 3 and 4 players.
All right. So, guys, we're gonna get some comments here, and then we'll move on. All right. Jody's saying, on a serious note, I'm glad Martial, Van der Beek, and James get sweat. Yeah, them fellas needed it, boy. He also saying, yes, Nico, Greenwood played good, but yet again, he kept trying to walk. Yeah, he greedy. It had plenty chances today where Greenwood could have passed and he tried to shoot. But anyway, I go allow him because we win 9-0. All right.
Love man.
Yeah, we go allow him. But see, that greediness had to stop. Yeah, we call him Greenwood.
I don't see it. I didn't see.
Oh my Lord! Right. Johnny, you're wicked. He's also saying I will consider this game a confidence booster for player. Most definitely. Most
Exactly
definitely.
what it is. That is exactly what it is.
Hey Peter, welcome man. Good night. Thanks for joining.
Good night, Peter.
Hey Dwayne, thanks for joining. We feeling nice, Dwayne.
Yeah, man.
We feeling nice. I know last review Dwayne was a little, it hit him hard on that Sheffield game now, but but we feeling nice. Davian saying I asked for Martial to come on in the second half, even before the first half had ended. His form is important to keep the squad season. It's important to the squad season, yeah. I have nothing against Martial. Hopefully he kicks on and his attitude improves. What attitude? You see, you're going good and then you talk about attitude. What attitude had to do with this thing? I don't understand.
Yes.
Oh God, Olivia, you're going real good, Davian.
Olego Bakery wanna fight somebody tonight.
Simeon, welcome man. Thanks for joining. He said, are we really evaluating this team after a game against 10 men? Is that a Martial jersey? Let me show you again now, boy. Yeah. Yes, sir.
No, but
what?
Simeon, we had enjoyed by the last. We had enjoyed by the last. When it had team 9, you had to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You had to enjoy that. Because we could have struggled to break down a team with 9 men or 10 men and say, well, where do we go from here? So that didn't happen. So, we at least we had to take.
And we just always talk about killing off teams and imposing and things, and we do that today. So let me enjoy it now, Leo.
Yeah.
Right? Keon, welcome, man. Thanks for joining, buddy. He's saying they were starting to get a little relaxed in the game tonight. Then when Shea Adams scored and they called it offside, they got energy again. Yeah. And it started at the second half. I think we took a little time to, settle back into the game. But I mean, we're glad that they catch back some kind of energy. And they went at it. If there's one thing I noticed in the first half, fellas, right? Oh, good. Oh, yeah. I lost that point I was gonna make. Anyway, Martial. Anthony Martial.
As long as you have fit Cavani.
Here, all heavy number boy and sweating to defend the boy all season. You know what I'm saying? No, I feeling cold breeze, I feeling good. Leave me alone, right?
Yeah, I know. But what's my I just feeling confidence in Cavani, boy. I just feeling confidence. Even if he has showy chances, I just had a confidence that boy. This man believe in himself now. This man believe that he can do it. I just don't get that belief from Marshall. I'm sorry. I just don't get that belief.
Jody saying I enjoying the 48 points I get from Bruno, Rashford, and Harry fantasy team.
Yeah. Oh, they get true, boy.
A captain Bruno, so I go see when I check back.
He gets 17 points.
17 points I get from Bruno, captain.
Yeah, well, if 34 points I get from Bruno.
All right.
Before we go any further,
I'm taking it. Go ahead, Greg.
Before we go any further, we have to also give some credit to Aaron Wan-Bissaka because he had a very, very good game tonight. And I'm not just talking about the fact that he got a goal this evening too. He got forward. He tried to put more crosses in. You saw a more of a determined spirit in him and a more of an idea in his game tonight. A lot of times we will be worried about whenever he's going forward and thinking, okay, what is he going to do? Is he going to make a cross? Is he going to cut in? Is he going to just run straight down the line? It's like you're not too sure what to expect from him in the game. And he looked like he had more ideas what he did because he had movement working with him, and it was a better thing. Maybe probably because it had less men on the pitch with Southampton, he probably felt okay. He had more room to roam, and it was less of a risk. But it was good to see him going forward. It was good to see him pushing and showing some determination.
Yeah.
Also with Wan-Bissaka, he got man the match today, and he also got.
He did it.
Yeah.
Because I see the give McTominay, and I was questioning that.
Yeah, no, it was.
You're talking about the game, what kind or Man United itself?
Man United.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka won by about 43 points and Bruno got about 42. So Bruno was actually second. But and he also won man of the match against Arsenal. Against Arsenal was Wan-Bissaka. And what it had times he won against.
I'm not sure it was man of the match for Arsenal.
Yeah, no, Wan-Bissaka. Right? We can check it back. But my point is, but my point is you have been seeing them trying to attack more. You know, because even that crossing when that was the Arsenal game where he had a header across goal. I think that was Arsenal when he had a header and he placed it wide.
Arsenal,
yes,
yeah.
It was
right, that was Arsenal. So you're seeing that he's trying to get into that position more and more, and the goal that he scored today was from that similar position.
Correct. That's correct.
Right? So definitely that is something that he's working into his game. He's getting into his game. He reaped rewards today, not only a goal but also assists. And a strong performance. So he didn't know any independent to do today. You know, but again, he had a strong performance today.
The man finally getting the Crystal Palace style football out of his system, buddy. What are you do?
Nigel, welcome, man. He's saying earlier, let's see Cafu and Roberto Carlos tonight. I'm telling you, them fellas and them attack like them Brazilians and them by.
He's fellas right, buddy.
I find you want a comment from Dwayne.
From Dwayne? Okay. I didn't see it. I didn't see
it. I went past that one. Okay.
Dwayne saying don't matter what happens, leave Cavani for another season. Yeah, definitely. Right. Definitely. Right. Cavani here for next season. I don't know we will win Cavani.
Yeah, like why you do that? He put out the first fight. But they go really quick.
Greg, the thing about it, Greg, is I don't have no agenda, you know. You understand?
I don't have no agenda either.
When men have agenda, they get stopped.
I want the best of Manchester United.
All right. He was the best of Man United. He was the best of Man United, but the first thing he said when we talk about Marcel goal is he get too easy, eh? Anyway, Peter, to be honest, this was just a schoolyard match because after the red card, the match was over. They were pressed. They were obliterated, and I can't have anything bad to say. I like the fact that we can score 9 goals to bring up our goal difference, right? Nevertheless, execution was 100%, effort was 100, but I really looking at this game as the game where the football gods allowed us an easy passage rather than a difficult one with no injuries either. Right now, I'm actually watching the game back. Let me see if I get any more comments here. To have it back, I don't know.
Have it recorded. You say you have it recorded.
Okay. Davian said Marcel went from selling nuts by the traffic light to scoring goals. Oh yes. Hey, man like Curtis on the inside.
Hey. Wow, I'm a video game a little problem. Wow, Greggy. Glory, Man United. Whoop, whoop.
Greg, what going on with Curtis video there, boy? Curtis making like
I don't know what to this video there, boy.
Hold on. Remember leave and come back in and see if it can be better. Remember leave and come back in. I come back in just leave and come back.
Yeah.
Get closer to your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Curtis looking physic. You know?
Yeah, but like he was celebrating too hard, but I didn't know he drink.
No, but earlier, so here, right. So I now remember the point I was making when the game started, right? We started real positive. Now remember one thing I noticed, and if we go back to the first time we played Southampton is one of the more energetic, intensity teams, and that is one of the reasons why Oli would have played this team, because this team would have been able to match them on an energy level, and when they got, and the way how we started, I messaged Nico and I said, Nico, we beaten this team because they played 2 academy products in that team, a center midfielder and the left back. And that left back is the one who had to deal with Marcus Rashford.
Right back.
Yeah, sorry, they're right back. Yeah. Right? So from the time I see that, I had known that we was going to have a field there. And then when I see that fella flying with a dotage tackle and get a red card, I message Nico go tell you, I message Nico and I said, Nico, this game is food we're gonna beat this team real bad. You understand what I'm saying? And all we needed earlier was that first goal to score. Like all we needed. And after that, Nico tell them what is our message after the first goal.
After the first goal, Reem say floodgates open.
Floodgates open.
Yeah, he said floodgates open. Floodgates open.
Yeah. Am I ready to get back to front yet?
Yeah.
Do it for a reason, boy. Do it for a reason.
No pressure. The man's got 2 goals. No pressure. You understand?
All of the talk about the man, the player, the man and him smile today. The man come and put in a shift for 45 minutes. The man show why he's the Iceman today, yes?
No, watch me. I'm gonna tell you something, Kurt.
I will be Iceman in big games.
The man couldn't smile because the man getting threatened, his wife getting threatened because of what? So the man had to control. You watch me. Tell all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Your wife must get threatened. There might be responsible that say, that man better score some goals soon, you know. Otherwise, you can't enjoy that luxury in Man City again, you know. Back to France. Back to France.
Davian saying, anybody else notice Bruno touch bit off? That's what he was like. Shaky, but Bruno is a man, he will do things still.
After 9 goals, like
Bruno find a way.
Fellas, mainline, Sudden could I get about 15 today, you know. We cannot play with the food today still, you know. Honestly, we cannot play with the food still because the opportunities them for them get. James, when James came on, James cross had a nice little cross. If Marcel was inside it, or Cavani, a poacher like Chicharito or somebody, definitely was getting that.
No. That was a crazy cross, Curtis. That cross was mad. I messaged Nico after that cross. Nah. James do crap for that cross.
Maybe it's an next cross.
Maybe an next cross.
Next cross you're talking about there. That was. Let me get some comments in the fellas. Julian saying Marcel need to stop dragging that leg and start swinging that leg. Maybe a second half action. Now you try to chip the keeper, unlucky. Oh God, all you want by
Nah. But I like the sportsmanship. The man come out and say he really didn't play him for the foul. The man was really trying to get out of the way, and it was kind of harsh on the man to get a red card to come off and shoot. In all honesty.
But
because it was not intentional. A yellow at least. Here what you telling me,
Kurt.
Men get an offer less, boy. Men get an offer less out there, though.
Not only that. You see that game against Sheffield where we lost?
Yeah.
The authorities come after the fact and apologize to Oli, saying the goal that we conceded wasn't supposed to be a goal because they here get foul. And the goal we score. Was a goal.
So wait now, I'm asking a question. In a situation like that, right? When they come and the finance prove to be otherwise, they can rescind the results?
Nope. Results standard just saying well it was a mistake. But I find so.
Let's give you a penalty. Let's give you a penalty. Right?
So otherwise, so technically, you would have been on top of the league in front of City with 3 points, right? And they still would have been at least a game or 2 games behind. But you would have been in front of City with 3 points. Had the results go the way it should have gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing. Hey, footballs are funny game, you know. Footballs are really funny game.
Yeah, boy.
And that's why I say, even though it was a soft penalty, I taken that.
No, it really was a penalty, eh? It really was a penalty. I ain't saying it was really a penalty because the man did clip Martial by the ankle or by the heel. He really did get fouled. But what I said, to get him on a red card was unjustified. A yellow at least, because it wasn't an intentional foul. You can see the man was clearly trying to get out of the way. But
well, Curtis, let me hear from the referee on the panel. right?
Yes, sir. Mr. Nico.
But at the end of the day, the law is the law, right? And referees are just there to enforce the law, right? So we are just enforcers. We are like police officers, right? They write the law and they say, here, what? Look at everybody who don't wear a mask, get them a ticket for $1,000, right? So you see men without a mask, you get them ticket for $1,000. So we just enforcing the law. And it's the same thing with today. Because if you look at the Arsenal game with the David Luiz, was similar, right?
Yeah.
A red card, because the law is, as long as you do attempt to play the ball, right, and it's the last line, then it's a red card. If it was that Benarek challenged for the ball and fouled Marshall, it would have been a yellow card. So so I guess it's similar to the City game also. That was intelligence also. So if Benarek know, hey, you know what I mean? Most likely it might be penalty, challenge to the ball. As long as you challenge to the ball from any direction, it would have been a yellow. But the moment you don't challenge and you foul an attacker, and that is the last line before goal, then, you know what I mean, as in terms of the law, it's a red card.
I feel Martial and Neymar is best buddies on social media, because mainline.
Social media alone?
That man's second career should be a diver. Ooh. That man career different.
But here now, all the talk. Let there Champions League final where we won 1-0 down now, and all the taking that now.
Everybody taking that.
Right.
Anyway, don't complain when it become a big thing.
Yeah.
He says good night. Nice to have you listening, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking that.
Jody say Marcel and Greenwood need to exchange their foot with each other.
Jody, I like how you have Greenwood, but give me that chance.
That's so funny though. You see what they showed you other foot? Only time you attack Martial. And the other game and so no, Greenwood get attacked, they can't stand it, you see?
Dwayne saying, bros, no lie. I feel I might cry if we win this thing in 100. I'm telling you, watch man, tears like a big baby. You're getting that. You know? Anyway.
I ain't no cry. They go hear me from quite down and from down south side up or that's when they go hear my mouth. I'm sorry.
No, but guys, let me any more points on the first half in terms of performances, things that we could have done better, things that was impressive in the first half that you want to touch on again. So we want to look at the game from a technical, analytical point too. We don't want to just get guard and hype now.
What I like about the first half, I like the intensity the fellas didn't come out with. The pressing game was on point today. It was like the full 10 was like almost man marking because Sutton didn't know how to really play out from the back. Because we really press them today. We dominate the midfield. We force them to make errors, make mistakes. And we had them sitting, we had them running. They didn't even know. Sutton didn't have that game plan. Honestly, they didn't have that game plan. Whatever it is they had discussed before the match, and the thing they wanted to execute, they couldn't execute it because they was ruffled. So the first half was really nice. And I was telling myself, boy, I hope Ollie in wrestling laurels in the second half because we have a tendency to get comfortable now.
Yeah.
When we 3 up, 4 up, or 2 up, we like to just second half we come back and just dress back at play with the food, like cat now, like yeah. But we come out and we come out. I mean the first 10, maybe 5-10 minutes in the second half, we were still kind of playing with them, and then they step on the gas again. With the subs that he made, we step on the gas again. I know, and my player scored a wonderful goal today. Max Sauce, I would never stop to put that dude. Hardest working man. Yeah. Well, I'm telling you about Nico. You understand? The man goal was so school-ish today. You understand?
Schools.
Yes. The man not the fanciest in the footwork and whatnot. But when you see McTominay game now, all you realize McTominay passing, which have have drastically improved? The long range passes?
No, he in form right now. Actually, he in form. And I saw the form in the Arsenal game. In the Arsenal game, he was real good until
Of course.
But you see any coming up to the standard. It comes slowly but surely coming up to the standard.
I
I don't know if he'll be able to play a defensive midfield role by himself. Right? I don't know if he can, but he can't just scratch.
In due time, I think in due time he'll get there. Anyway, yeah, previous you wanted to read that comment?
Yeah, let me just get one comment here and then we'll go to you, right, Greg? Jody saying I start to feel sorry for Southampton, but then I remember how they blaze and laugh at our team when we lost against Spurs. True that, no mercy, right? No mercy. Nobody getting mercy. Go ahead, Greg.
Nah, none.
Yeah,
none.
Can we also spare a thought for Luke Shaw's consistency? Because for the last few games, anybody who's watched Luke Shaw, I keep telling them, bringing in Alex Telles is probably the best thing that ever happened to Luke Shaw because it let him recognize that he had to up his game. Let him know that his spot is safe. That's what I was telling them. Luke Shaw for the last like 4 or 5 games.
Go ahead.
Oh, what was that?
I said, Rivka, what I counted to that just now, but go ahead, finish your point.
No, this doesn't against Luke Shaw. I've never had anything against Luke Shaw. I have no agenda with any of these players. I always tell them that I've watched certain things, but there were times before in seasons past where you didn't see the consistency levels as high with Shaw. But now you're seeing definitive action. The way he goes forward, the more attempts to cross. It seems like it's something just woke up in him a bit. I think he's finally fulfilling the potential that we expected from him. And he's like, what, 23, 24, somewhere around there now?
Yeah.
You're seeing a lot of development in his game.
Greg, just to add, the only one thing I want to add with Luke Shaw, a structural criticism on Luke Shaw, sometimes his positioning, the result, he'll still be napping at that left back. When they're playing like a 4 in the back, his positioning does still be a little bit off. However, when Manchester is playing on a back 3, his positional awareness is much better. For some reason, it is much better than when they play on a back 4. The other thing Luke Shaw needs to work on is that right foot. If he can add that right foot touch to his game in crossing or passing, he'd be so much Evra-ish. Evra could do everything with his right foot or left foot. And that's where a man like Dalot, when given game time, going to put some pressure on Wan-Bissaka or Luke Shaw. And Telles has that his game too. Telles had that crossing. He has that technique in the back with the back foot, with the right foot or left foot in crossing and an in passing. So
yeah, but I think Telles was dead ball specialist before he came in. Telles was captain of Porto and everything. So that's the Telles. Yeah. They have Telles in this team right now. So it let people know, hey, you play you lap, send somebody else going and come and take your spot. Why think people playing harder? Game yet? I'm glad he gets some game time today, but on a regular Donny van de Beek. Any other time, in any other team, if any other players that lap, Donny will slip it into that side normal.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to stop playing show today because of how he's been playing, and I think that's something we had to take note of. And I say I'd applaud him for it because it's showing that he's getting better.
Yeah. The man movement. The thing with Donny's not a guy not to hold on to the ball. As soon as he gets it, he already know he had 3 men he can pass that to. So as soon as he gets it, boom, he knock it to that person who free. He's not a whole ball specialist to beat man like Pogba. Pogba got draw 2-3 men, beat 2 men, make them look like and then pass off. That's not Donny game. Donny again, he done aware. He had 2-3 men running. Yeah. Donny don't know that 2-3 men running. He knock off. Fall in our space, knock off, run in our space. That is Donny game.
All right. So, fellas, Nico have a pretty interesting question, and I know it might divide plenty of opinions. But let me see if we can tackle it now, Nico.
Yeah, guys, and the guys listening also, we need your comments on this one. You know what I mean? I think this could be a hot debate. But we want to get it on both sides, right? We want to get the comments on both sides. And then we fill it out. What I find is that without Pogba with Pogba in the team, right? Pogba has been throwing off the balance within the team, right? Because when he played in a defensive two, right? Let me say with himself and Matic or whoever else, he's a liability defensively, right? If we play with the two defensive mids, with say McTominay and Fred, and he's playing high up, right? He's even more of a liability. Let me say playing right, because we saw that against Liverpool where Robert Smoota would have caught him napping a few times. When he played on the left side against Arsenal, he was ineffective, right? He wasn't effective. So my question is it that Pogba is throwing off the balance of the team, you know, and if maybe better he move on and we get somebody to fully position, I don't know, guys.
That's a tough one to address, really, though. Pogba, like any other players, does have the moments, you know, and it probably depends on the team that we face and Pogba is playing. He could sometimes it just takes one bit of brilliance to just change the whole aspect of the game. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Nico, that when the switch and Pogba was playing on the right wing, that he looked out of sorts. But then again, too, when you look at when the switch was made, right, he drew players. So he leave creative players like Bruno, who was open, and runners like Rashford, who was open to take the chances. So sometimes yes, depending on the opposition that we face, he could be an asset. And at times, yes, he can really he is a liability. He is a liability. But we all know that Pogba preferred position is on our left mid, whether it's in a diamond or in a 4-3-3. That is his preferred position. In that position, or even as a 10. We know he can be very, very effective there. We all know that defensively that was never part of his game. Even when he was in his setup with Juventus, because you had Vidal who was doing all the dirty work, you had Pirlo who was the orchestra and pulling the strings, and he was just there to be in his spaces, to look pretty and score or make a nice little pass, and the person score.
But isn't that Manchester United need a player like that though? Yeah, because we have Bruno to do that, right?
Well, so Bruno the orchestra now. Bruno is the orchestra. Fred and McTominay is the mop-up-men.
Pogba would have been doing, right? So then what Pogba doing? As much as what we again, Ramdas, yes, Ramdas, you know, we no slander, you know what I mean? It had no agenda against Pogba. But I just look at it in terms of the balance between the team. Because for me, for some reason, I doesn't feel like the team balanced when Pogba, especially when we played in any formation, really. You know, so Greg?
Yeah, well, Nico, I think it kind of goes back to the same point Curtis is making. I think it's all a matter of how the team sets up. Sometimes you have to know how to complement a certain player. A lot of teams will probably look at Pogba and think that's a player to build a team around. Remember, he's a box-to-box player. So he at times will be coming back and helping out defensively, which he's been doing lately, and people have been asking more of him to do. And also, at times, he will go forward and add as an extra body to the attack, because we know what he's capable of. We know that he's dangerous. You know he's dangerous either foot. He can cross like amazingly. He has the skills. He's talented. So it's hard to leave a player like Paul Pogba out on your team. Now, as regards from a strategical standpoint, Oli kind of said to himself, all right, you know what? I need a certain measure of energy, and then maybe Pogba may not be as fresh as he was playing in the Arsenal game. So he's all right, give men who I know have a little more of a higher fitness level and a little more sharp today. Because look at what went on when he brought on Donny. When he brought on, he had fresher people to bring with it. He had more things to experiment with. Pogba himself, it's difficult to find out because sometimes his form may not be the best, but he always has sometimes that moment of brilliance that just changes the whole game. So it's hard to say that you get rid of Pogba completely, or you just leave him out to the team, because you get a different dynamic with Paul Pogba in your side. So it's tricky, but I still think there's use for him in this team.
Yeah, I think Nico, that's a very, very interesting point. Even though it's kind of working against one of our better players or best players on the team is a very, very good point, because when you look at games like today, and I think Greg, you mentioned it and said it pretty well. You want energy, and you're not gonna get that kind of energy and industry from Pogba. But I really can't say that Pogba don't offer anything defensively, because of late Pogba has been pulling his weight somewhat, or more than we've been used to.
Before we go deeper, I just want to say this. I'm not saying that he doesn't offer anything defensively. I'm just saying that a lot of people have criticized him because they figure that he doesn't do enough defensive work. There's a difference between the two. A lot of the time, when he does do stuff defensively, if you watch in previous games, like in his first season, anybody remember how many Liverpool game at Old Trafford? He was trying to defend that corner. He ended up handling the ball and giving Liverpool a penalty. It had a lot of situations where Pogba was suspect and he gave away the ball. Clearly, he's worked on that more now. So I think the results being reached.
I think that was more based on fitness. Anytime you see Pogba doing stupidness in the boxes because he has fitness.
There's a lot of things that come into factor with that, honestly.
Reem, what about you think about the addition of Darren Fletcher and the backroom staff now? He being a midfielder, being a box-to-box himself. You think that Fletcher knowledge could be impacting on Pogba now that he's working on his defensive side? Because Fletcher was an outstanding midfielder who could have defend, and we used to pop up and give you those exceptional goals as well too. So could it be that Fletcher being in the backroom staff now could be coaching and working on the mental aspect of Pogba and his defensive, because we already know he is explosive going forward offensively, and Greg is quite right. There are sometimes that Pogba was just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. But look at the penalty with Arsenal when we at home. I mean, to me that didn't look like a PK, but
thank you.
But he was a judge at PK, and he was disgusted that he was a judge. He was the culprit of the PK, because you see the expression like, gosh, boy, me again, boy. His expression said it. His expression. And so I again, Pogba is like an enigma. You never know what exactly you're going to get on the day, because you think that he's going to be lazy on the field, and then next minute, boom, he just create that one worldy pass, and like, shit, boy, you see that pass, Pogba just, boom, goal. And then next minute, like, gosh, boy, Pogs, boy, you're real wrong in it today, boy. Whole game you get wrong it. And then, boom, just get a little, and you forget the whole 90 minutes, the whole 89 minutes you were wrong in it.
Yeah, but you see what how our team plays, and I think this is when Nico was coming from. How our team plays, you just really see the difference in midfield in terms of industry, and you see a better chemistry with Fred and McTominay, and then now when you have them there, you have more natural players playing in their position. So for instance, you'll have Greenwood, you'll have Rashford or Martial playing in the wide positions, and then you'll have a striker playing in a striker position, and then you'll have Bruno playing where he normally plays. So he's more looking at the whole balance, instead of saying that Pogba not good, he's looking at how it's affecting the balance of the team when they want to shape up like that. My thing is that I have seen a lot of progress in Pogba's ability to play central midfield. I would very much like Pogba to play high up, because I think he would be a little more free of the defensive responsibility, and not that he don't do it. It's just not really his forte, He will prefer attack first and defend after. But when you're playing in a deep role like that, your first prerogative is to defend. And that's what McTominay and Fred is there. That's how they think. They will think, hey, I need to break up play. Hey, I need to win back this ball and then pass. Pogba will now play in that position thinking, hey, how I could make something happen in an attacking sense, you know? And how Oli tend to set up his team, those two players playing in that double pivot, that is more how you would see them thinking now. Break up play first, right? But as I said before, even though it may throw off the balance of the team a little bit, I have enjoyed seeing Pogba play higher up. And to touch on Kurt's point about the introduction of Darren Fletcher, I was watching an interview with Fletcher some time ago, and he was saying when they used to coach the youth team, right, and Pogba was part of the youth team, one of the things that they did with Pogba is they played Pogba higher up the pitch in the same attack because Pogba could play. Remember when Pogba was younger, Pogba used to play across the front three. Pogba could have played on the left, Pogba could have played on the right, and he could have played as the number 10 as well. And he could also play deeper. So to get Pogba more involved in the attacking aspect of the game, they used to play Pogba higher up the pitch, even though they already had a number 10. So when we saw Pogba playing on the left side or playing on the right side, I remember coming and telling Nico, I said, Nico, I don't know if this had anything to do with the fact that Fletcher came into the coaching staff, because he had said something like that in an interview before. Right. And I don't think Pogba had done. I don't think Pogba have done badly, but as Nico was alluding to, the balance of the team with more natural wide players, you kind of getting that miss there, you know.
Fellas, at the same way, I am so excited to see Diallo come on that first team. You know, I just rubbing my fingers because this youth man. Hey,
before we move on, Curtis, I want to as you were talking about Fletcher, right?
Yeah.
What I have seen since Fletcher coming to the team is an improvement in McTominay. So maybe, maybe the work that Fletcher is doing is more reflective in the performance of a McTominay who is playing in a similar position that Fletcher used to play in than improvement in Pogba. You know, so that's how I see that more improvement in a McTominay than Pogba since Fletcher has come into the team.
Not only that, Nico, not only that too, Fred game have even stepped up to because Fred is making a lot more forward passes and better choices in his passes because I have seen he tread some balls to both Martial, Cavani and Rashford. I was like, that is Fred? That the Brazilian Fred we talking about?
Is he bad passes? I just remember some simple passes.
Fred always had that in his locker. I will say this one thing. Fred always had that in his locker. It's just because of the position that he was in and the way he was trying to adjust to the game, he never really was able to showcase it as much. The role that he had at Shakhtar that was totally different to the role that he has now.
Yeah, remember the last time we were talking about Fred on free kicks, is he still standing up on free kicks?
What? That's gonna be upset again. Fred, just move. Why is stand up by the free kick? If it's a free kick with you and Bruno and no stand up there, then the whole world know where to take the free kick, and it's not you. Move. Jesus.
Yeah. You see, Fred standing over the ball is just to confuse people. People don't know Fred ain't gonna take a shot.
Confusing nobody because everybody knew it's not Fred gonna kick that.
Hey, the day Fred score free kick, so we are going to mark it down on the calendar.
No, we need to do that. We need to do that.
We still do that. Fred will shock people out there, though. People let see Fred easy that enough. People let see Fred easy that enough.
Greg, listen, even Bruno, right? I sent the clip for Reams, right? You say Bruno say he and Mata does be trading on free kicks. Tell us we trading on free kick. And you say, you know what Fred does be? Fred has just come for supporting him. Fred has been there to supporting him. Bruno said to the own words. The man is just being there for support.
This is exactly why Jody does attack you at Greenwood. You keep playing up. You go ahead.
Send it for Greg after.
I'll send it to him. I'll send it to him. But
Just move.
yeah. But I think what you all sorry, Greg, go ahead.
Nah, say the heartless way.
Yeah. It's real brutal. But I was really impressed. I was impressed with and you see, and I always say, Ali, it's so hard to recognize a player because they're so inconsistent that today McTominay go look good, then next game McTominay go look shaky, then next game Fred go look good, then he go look shaky. We really want consistency, and I think something Randolph was saying. He's saying my main thing is I need Oli to give the team license to play like they did today. That's difficult simply because sometimes the opposition does offer something different, you know. And I thought today the fact that Southampton played with two academy players and one gets sent off 2 minutes. You could have seen the first half they were kind of all about in terms of trying to figure out what they have to do now. I saw that when they went in halftime and came out in the second half, you saw that the game plan changed and they were sitting real deep. So it was like they were trying to do damage control now, you know. And we saw that we were a little more patient in moving the ball around until we found spaces, you know. And I can't remember what was the first goal we scored in the second half. That was the Martial goal.
Yeah.
And I think that is what kind of the Southampton heads drop, and it's like they just let things happen again. They could have seen the difference between the first half and the second half, and I think that is why we took a little bit longer to break them down, because it called for a little more patience. We wasn't getting the kind of freedom behind the lines that we were experiencing in the first half. And then sometimes what we had to remember is when they change players, it takes time for them to settle into the football, you know?
Yeah. I think I enjoyed Cavani. That's in the header. You know, so to me, if we getting quality crosses in the area more, maybe he could do that kind of damage. You know, so I think if you win really natural header the ball within the team, I think so that is definitely a weapon we have that we should try to use a bit more. I know we just tried, but it doesn't work. Today it worked. Excellent ball from Shaw. So I think that is something in our armory that we should really start to try to explore more, you know, and try to get right more to Cavani, because we know how good he is in the air.
Yeah.
And Shaw also need to do some shooting practice too, because the man, not to say the man can shoot, the man have a wonderful left foot. The man just timid. But Shaw could shoot. But Southampton Shaw was very little. Very little. Exactly. And that break foot, that incident with 70 foot, I really play with him mental. Because it affected him real bad. And Mourinho and everything was started to, and then Mourinho come and mess with the man and say, hey, I had to use my brain and show head sometimes. So that come and mess with the man mental too. Like as a footballer, like well, the man could be saying that on national TV, boy, you know. So the man confidence just went back down again. And Oli Mabit say, hey, I believe in you. We know what they Oli saying, but Oli saying, I believe in you. And Tellers too, of course. But even before Tellers came in, you could have seen that Shaw wanted to improve. A couple of seasons ago, when Shaw was fat, or you know when Shaw was kind of chubby, and but you know he cannot stuck, you cannot top heavy. And it had a preseason just before them guys and they went on preseason. The man went on some holiday and the man was working. The man take a page from Rashford book and man was sitting in the gym the man changed on his dad. And the man was looking lean. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah, I remember.
You know,
Greg, you want to make a point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, what was also the beautiful thing about today's game too is that it wasn't just the size of scholars, the variety of the goal scorers too. You're looking at it, you're seeing not just the forward getting in on the act, you're seeing a defensive midfielder getting in on it. You're seeing your right back gaining in the game. Hell, I mean, if they gave Lindelof and them a chance, they might have already tried to get some goals themselves. It was good
Right.
to see that the goals were spread around. And that just goes to show that there's more options for goal scoring opportunities, and there's more options for us to be able to create chances. You had to just find one particular player and say, hey, get it to here, he go busting it. Most defenders will be looking for that and saying, all right, close the out to isolate the whole thing. And becoming that threat now.
True.
Yeah, good point.
You've seen that.
I think we scored 5 goals before Bruno even had a goal or assist. We scored 5 or 6 before Bruno even got into the game in a creative attacking sense.
I want to be a little comical here. I was thinking, well, boy, since the floodgate open, all I give the hair free kickers. He might have bossed in it too. He might have bossed in it too, but you know what? Because this guy who used to play for Chile, who says Chevrolet, he was the goalkeeper, but he was a deadly free kick specialist for a goalkeeper, you know.
Yeah,
And the man a real goal, says him.
I feel they might have blasted in the stands.
Maybe, you never know.
You think that? Hey, what's what? You think that bad? You only ever watch the qualifiers for like Euros and things, boy? I remember Germany playing San Marino. Germany beat them like what, 12-0 or something like that. Them gap penalty. You know why he's running up and looking to take the penalty? Oliver Kahn.
No.
Now, but here now, I think, right, unless De Gea is a free kick specialist, I feel it has certain lines in football you don't want to cross, and that disrespect, boy. You know?
Yeah, but they had started off as a striker in the career. They had started off as a striker.
No, but what I'm saying is over
Exactly.
how much years now De Gea is a goalkeeper. So I find maintain some kind of respect now, boy, you know? To send my goalkeeper to take a free kick in the minor league, man. Come on, man.
Narim. Bust the onion bag, boy. Bust the onion bag. I do business. Bust the onion bag.
Give me a back out special. What are you going to say then?
I will take it, but I mean, you know. Anyway, guys, so, you know, we're wrapping up. We want to wrap up. I just want to get some closing thoughts. Right. So talk to me, Greg.
Let me just say, today was the morale boosting victory that we really needed. And after, like you said, after that those last 2 games that really kind of messed with us and had us thinking, okay, maybe we wouldn't be able to challenge like we thought. It put us right back into a position where everybody had to watch us now. So this is momentum.
Sorry, Greg.
He was actually. Mr. Saka was away.
Is this a cancel?
I mean, yeah, but just to summarize my thought in itself, this is to show that this team is really trying to break the ground to show people, hey, we're not giving up on this fight. We in it to the end. And I think once we keep that momentum and we capitalize on any slips from anybody else around, this title could be coming to Old Trafford. I just feel it, but I still want us to take it 1 game at a time. I don't want us to get ahead of ourselves and look at everybody else.
One game at a time.
Yeah, Curtis.
Yeah, well, just to add what Greg is saying, I believe that we have it in us to really win the league this year. After so many years, we just had to keep it tight, keep it close knit. Don't let City run away with it. Even though they have technically 2 games in hand, we hope that they can drop points and others behind us can drop points as well too. To be fair, but in fact, we should play our game. We shouldn't hope to anybody to drop points. We should play our game, but at least keep in touch and distance with City. Don't let them get too far ahead, because the minute we really start to lose too many points, it's all over. Because in form City, very hard to catch up. Yeah. Very, very hard to catch up. And as you can see, the game that they beat us, it was technically a second 11 City that beat us. So that's the kind of level that we want to get to, that we can rest 11, and the 11 that coming on is like, wait now, that's like a second starting 11. You as a coach now should be thinking how to really come up with that strategy, because you will be watching tapes. Okay, Man United's strongest 11 is Bruno, this and that, and then you realize Bruno on the bench, Rashford on the bench, Marcel on the bench, the hair on the bench. You're starting Bishop, and like, wait a minute, they're the second team. Yeah, we can run over, and then the second team come and hit you, boom, 5. You're like, nah, boy. So the fear factor, as Gregory say, is slowly coming back in. It was the moral boosting victory that we needed. We didn't really need it, but it was welcome. And
Well, we needed
I think, I think next season, because it started from last season, you see that 18 or 19 games unbeaten away run that we won right now. Everybody watching it like, okay, because last year our defense, the same players we had, we didn't really do much. We didn't really buy much people in defense. We had one of the second best defenses last season, and for some reason we leaking goals this season, and we have a better team last time than this time. But I believe next year we're gonna come real good. Even if we don't win the league this year, I mean I'm optimistic. If we win it, I'll be glad. But even if we don't win it and we end up at second, I have seen vast improvement in the team compared to last time to this time, because after 22 games we was like nearly 30 points off the leaders. So to be mere 4 points, well, on par right now. Goal difference is just separating us, but to be on par right now with the leader of the pack is exceptional. Always working. You can't just give a man a 3 years, and if things didn't work the first season, to just dump him. I mean, it was unfortunate that Frank, not to straight away, but it was unfortunate that Frank Lampard get by the dust. But I think Frank have a vision similar to Ole, into that with youth, with experience, and with time, Chelsea would have come good. But we're not on Chelsea. We don't really favor the blue team. We on the red. So with that said, I believe we stand a really good chance. We had a real good chance, and it was nice. It was nice for James to come on and did what he did. He gave him showed him a little glimpse. Again, too, he's an ex-player. We need to work on his mental capacity. Not everybody could be starters, but James IQ need to be up a little bit. Marcus Rashford IQ need to be up a little bit. For sure. Even Martial and all too, because sometimes your player him, IQ need to be up a little bit too, because our strikers, our young strikers,
need to believe in himself.
Because Greenwood, exactly. A little pinch of salt. Even this piece of thing with Greenwood that happened in the hotel with the girls and whatnot, that kind of affect the young man a little bit, you understand? So them fellas and them need to go in some kind of striker camp or something and just brainstorm and come back, because the kind of strikers we had in the years gone by, any two strikers that Fergie started with was injected fear to any team, because they're like, yeah boy, a man started with Rooney and Van Nistelrooy, or he started with Tevez and CR7, or Bobatov. You understand? So any two strikers like it, and when you think you're resting on your laurels and you pull up Bobatov and you pull up Rooney, boom, you get Ole and Colo, whoever. You understand what I'm saying? But in fact,
Luis Saha coming on.
But Luis Saha too. Exactly. So any 2D man switch up, or any 2D man start with, teams used to be like, nah boy, we really can't rest, because them further than them deadly. Real deadly. So that fear factor is slowly coming back, and we be in good hands.
All right, nice man. Well,
yeah, yogi.
That's a suit inside here, flower. Hey guys, for me, I mean, it was good to see us score some goals today. I think for us, goals had dried up over the last few games. If it wasn't a 1-0 victory, might have squeezed a 2-1, and if we really had a challenge, we can't be just rolling by. I mean, we had to be beating teams and we had to be scoring goals. 1-0 and 2-1 can't cut it if you really want to win a title. Because it will have a time where, as it happened before, it happened with the Arsenal game, you come up 0-0, right? Or we could lose 2-1, because we're not being creative enough, we're not creating the chances, we're not taking the chances. So today was refreshing to see us taking the chances. I guess I would do a good for the confidence, especially players like Marshall, even Cavani scoring at home for the first time. Rashford, even he finished when Rashford was all right, and with that goal, he actually went past Cantona at 23 years. Marcus today has more goals than Eric Cantona had for United. So I guess today's victory and the manner of the victory was important to the team. And in terms of bringing back confidence, even to Bruno scoring, assisting, and building back that confidence in Bruno, I think that is why Oli would have left him on the field. Because for him coming off, let me say, taking him off after without having a goal or assist, he might have felt like, like he losing that spark. So I think that was a genius move from Oli to leave him on, for him to get a goal and the assist, which again will start back the momentum or kickstart Bruno in terms of what he brings to the team. So all in all, excellent performance, excellent results, and let me go ahead full steam ahead at Everton coming up at the weekend.
Yeah. I really hope that I don't ever look back at this game and say, wait, but if I could have take 2 goals from that 9-0
right.
and quit in the next game, but I mean, I guess what is always important, and Oli always say it out in his press conferences, what would make this win good is if we win the next game. Sometimes you go to Everton and you lose 2-0. Sometimes it'll make the 9-0 seem as nothing. Yeah, so it's important to follow up this performance with our next convincing one. I mean, I'm not expecting us to go on a route Everton 9-0 or 10-0, but a convincing performance with a win could be enough for me, and that's what we need to keep moving forward. We always say, and I don't want to sound cliche, but it is what it is. We take it game by game, and let me continue to keep the pressure on City. Curtis make a good point when he was talking. He said, we mightn't, win it, but let me make sure we chance is ours. Let me stay in and around there until it's done. When it's finished, we're supposed to be one. Let them win by 1 point, and then we can.
I just say that, right?
Go ahead.
I just say that. Sorry to cut you across. I just say that. Somehow I have a feeling it could be a deja vu moment this season with us and City. You remember the season when we had it to win and we was depending on City to draw or lose.
Yeah,
and come and win and that Aguero goal come and spoil it.
That was controversial. I remember that. I remember watching that. I remember watching that QPR game hoping to see those.
Yeah.
And we beat Blackburn. We beat Blackburn.
Yeah. We beat Blackburn.
Sunderland.
Right. But I have a feeling this season might end up just like that. It's going on to the wire.
Yeah. Let me just get a last comment and then we go wrap up, guys. Ramdas saying we need to be ruthless on the field. That's how the best do it. City never goes out feeling pity for anyone or play based on their system. City and Bayern, even Liverpool, impose their game on opponents. Yeah.
Agreed.
City has always beat teams convincingly.
Yeah.
So
and also, I think kudos to the team because even when we play Leeds, right, they still have ruthlessness against Leeds, right, and they also saw the ruthlessness again against Southampton. So maybe that is something that is coming back into our team right now.
Yeah. So guys, thanks for joining. We enjoy this review. We enjoy 9 goals. I was telling Greg before the review started that I almost didn't get enough space on the banner to put all the goal scorers, and that's a good thing, So long may it continue. As I said before, we are expecting to beat everybody 9-0, but we go take it probably once every 2-3 games. But in the middle, we go take a 3-0 or 4-0. But once we keep applying the pressure on those above us until we on top, and to close again, that's it, attack. So fellas, have a good night. We are again here on Saturday. Saturday. Let's hope for our next victory. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Yeah, good night.